So picture this. It's 1982, and a daytime television doctor suddenly quits his high-profile job at this fictional hospital, right?
Right.
And he leaves to go fight crime alongside a talking car.
Which is just, I mean, so incredibly 80s.
Totally. I mean, that actor was obviously David Hasselhoff leaving for Knight Rider. But what is truly crazy here isn't just that he traded a medical clinic for a sentient Pontiac Trans Am.
Yeah, that's not even the weirdest part.
Exactly. What's crazy is that his departure literally broke the entire universe of the show he left behind.
It really did. It forced this, like, massive structural earthquake on one of the most popular shows on television, which, of course, is The Young and the Restless.
Right.
And specifically, we're looking at the character of Snapper Foster today. Because, people love to dismiss daytime soap operas as just pure melodrama.
Oh, for sure. Like
Yeah.
just over-the-top fluff.
Exactly. Yeah. But if you actually look at the mechanics, they are these absolute masterclasses in long-form narrative. I mean, by analyzing the life cycle of Snapper, we can see exactly how television writers manipulate tension and class divides and audience loyalty over years, sometimes even decades.
Okay, let's just unpack this. Because Snapper wasn't just, a handsome guy in a lab coat.
Not at all.
He was a genuine cultural touchstone. And the stack of sources we're looking at today details how this one character, who was originally designed as this gritty, working-class foil in the early 1970s, how he defined an entire archetype for daytime TV.
He really set the mold.
He did. And our mission for this deep dive is to figure out how he launched a massive global superstar and why his eventual exit changed the entire trajectory of daytime TV's biggest juggernaut.
Well, to really grasp the mechanics of this, we have to look at the socioeconomic blueprint of the show when it launched back in 1973.
Right, the very beginning.
Yeah. The show's co-creator, William J. Bell, he didn't just throw a bunch of attractive people into a room. He built the core conflict entirely around class warfare.
A total rich versus poor dynamic.
Exactly. On one side, you have the Brooks family, who are incredibly wealthy publishing magnates. They're essentially like daytime royalty.
Yeah.
And then on the other side, you have the Foster family, who are just barely scraping by.
And Snapper is designed to be the ultimate anchor for the Fosters. I mean, he's the oldest son, he's pushing his way through medical school, but the baggage this guy is carrying is just immense.
Well, it's crushing.
It really is. His father, Bill Foster, abandoned the family 7 years prior to the show's start, so Snapper is suddenly forced to be the patriarch.
Right, at a really young age.
Yeah, and his mother, Liz, is literally breaking her back working on a factory line to support them. His brother Greg is trying to get through law school, and his sister Jill is working as a beautician, though she's dreaming of modeling.
And you have to think about the era here. In 1973, you have audiences dealing with very real-world economic anxieties. You've got the oil crisis, runaway inflation.
I look at Snapper's situation in the sources, and I just see this, walking pressure cooker of 1970s hustle culture.
That is a great way to put it.
I mean, he's juggling extreme poverty, medical school exams, and this deep-seated family trauma. With all that pressure, is it any wonder he had a hair-trigger temper?
Not at all.
I mean, that's literally where his nickname comes from. He was dubbed Snapper because he would just snap at anyone who pushed back on him.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, that temper and that sheer exhaustion are precisely why William J. Bell created him.
To be relatable, right?
Exactly. Bell was giving the blue-collar viewer an avatar. Imagine coming home from a grueling factory shift, turning on the television, and watching the wealthy, privileged Brooks family suffer through these, existential crises.
The Snapper is just perpetually exhausted from trying to survive.
Right. He's fighting his way upward. He grounded those early years in a highly relatable economic reality. He was the counterweight to all the glamour.
But that relatable quality makes casting him a massive hurdle. I mean, you can't just put a polished, traditional Hollywood leading man in that role.
No, the audience wouldn't buy the struggle for a second.
Exactly. So they need someone fresh.
Which is why Bell specifically sought out unknown actors for his original cast. An unknown actor is a blank slate.
Right. There's no baggage.
Exactly. It allows the audience to project the character's struggles onto them without the distraction of seeing, a famous actor playing dress-up in working-class clothes.
So they bring in William Gray Espy. He originates the role and plays Snapper from 1973 to 1975, and he really establishes that gritty baseline.
He sets the tone.
He does. But then Espy leaves, and in December of 1975, the producers bring in another completely unknown actor to take over the mantle. It was literally his first major television role, David Hasselhoff.
And it is genuinely difficult to separate Hasselhoff, the global icon, from Hasselhoff, the young, hungry actor.
Oh, totally.
But he completely embodied that pressure cooker intensity. He played Snapper for 6 years, churning out 850 episodes.
That is an insane amount of television.
It is, and he became the definitive face of the working class struggle on that show.
Here's where it gets really interesting because, the standard rule in television, the old Hollywood cliche, is that the character is always bigger than the actor, right?
Right, the idea that anyone can be recast and the machine just keeps moving.
Exactly. But when Hasselhoff quits in 1982 for Knight Rider, that rule completely shatters.
The ecosystem of the show just couldn't survive his exit.
Which is wild.
It is. Hasselhoff's departure was the catalyst that led William J. Bell to phase out almost the entire Foster family. With the exception of the sister, Jill, the working-class anchor of the show was effectively eradicated.
But wait, I have to push back on the timeline here.
Okay, go for it.
If the class divide was the entire, load-bearing wall of the show's premise, why wouldn't they just recast Snapper again? Why nuke the entire Foster family just because one actor wanted to drive a talking car?
Well, it's a question of irreplaceable chemistry, but also shifting cultural tides.
What do you mean?
Well, Hasselhoff brought a very specific raw charisma that made the working class struggle compelling. But also, look at the year. It's 1982.
Oh, right. The 80s are starting.
Exactly. The cultural zeitgeist is shifting away from the gritty inflation-era struggles of the 70s and moving toward the, greed is good, wealth-obsessed culture of the 1980s.
Ah, I see.
Yeah, Hasselhoff leaving gave the writers the perfect excuse to pivot. They realized the audience wanted aspiration now, not just reflection. So they shifted the narrative focus to corporate intrigue, which ushered in the era of the ruthless billionaire Victor Newman.
Okay, that is a fascinating pivot. But before Hasselhoff blew up the universe and left for the 80s, we have to look at what he was actually doing on screen to build that massive, irreplaceable loyalty with the audience.
Oh, we definitely do.
And looking at the sources, it is messy. You cannot talk about a 1970s daytime TV doctor without dissecting a spectacularly chaotic love triangle.
Love triangles are the absolute engine of long-form narrative. They allow writers to externalize a character's internal conflict.
Well, Snapper's internal conflict is completely off the rails here. He is torn between two women who represent totally opposite paths.
Right.
You have Chris Brooks, the daughter of the incredibly wealthy newspaper mogul Stuart Brooks, and then you have Sally McGuire, who is a working-class waitress at a place called Pierre's.
And Snapper's mother is aggressively pushing him toward Chris.
Oh, big time. She wants to secure his socioeconomic future. But Snapper secretly wants his freedom, and he's already hooking up with Sally on the side.
It is the classic dichotomy. The audience gets to watch Snapper actively rebel against his own upward mobility.
And the inciting incident for this drama is brilliant because of how incredibly petty it is.
Oh, the dinner.
Yes. Chris invites Snapper to a fancy dinner at her family's mansion. Snapper is exhausted from his medical residency, so he crashes at Sally's apartment and asks her to wake him up in time for the dinner.
And Sally, who obviously wants him for herself, intentionally forgets to wake him.
Exactly. A simple act of sabotage.
But it ripples outward and destroys multiple lives.
Oh, the destruction is immediate. Chris's wealthy dad, who already despises Snapper, uses this to expose the cheating. Chris is devastated. She dumps Snapper, and she ends up getting a job working for Snapper's brother, Greg.
Who, by the way, has been secretly in love with her the entire time.
It's so tangled. Every choice Snapper makes affects his family, his career, his rivals.
But this storyline takes a sharp turn into much darker psychological territory soon after.
It does. I'm looking at my notes here, and I am actually deeply confused by the morality the writers are pushing. So, Chris is tragically assaulted by a man named George Curtis. She is severely traumatized to the point where she refuses physical intimacy with Snapper. And Snapper steps up, right? He plays the noble, emotionally supportive rock for her.
He plays the good guy.
Right. But simultaneously, while playing her savior, he is actively seeking out physical gratification with Sally on the side.
Yeah, he's entirely compartmentalizing his life.
Which is incredibly selfish. Why did the audience completely turn on him? Can you imagine tuning in every day to watch this guy be a hypocrite?
What's fascinating here is the sheer bravery of that writing choice. You're assuming the audience wants a perfect hero.
Well, yeah, usually.
But they don't. A flawless, purely noble character is narratively dead. They have nowhere to grow and nothing to overcome.
It's true.
By making Snapper hypocritical and selfish, The writers created a reactionary anti-hero way before that term was popularized by prestige cable dramas.
Yeah.
Snapper is a mirror for human frailty.
So they didn't hate him because he was flawed.
Exactly. The audience didn't turn on him because his flaws were recognizable. They tuned in every day precisely to judge him, to debate his choices with their friends, and to see if he would ever figure out how to be a truly good man.
That makes so much sense. You don't watch to see people make good decisions. You watch to see how they survive their bad ones.
Exactly.
And Sally forces his hand on those bad decisions because she realizes she's losing him to Chris, so she just throws away her birth control pills and gets pregnant on purpose to trap him.
And this is where we see the writers utilizing what I like to call an emotional savings account.
Oh, I love that term. Tell me how that works.
Well, in a standard television show, a secret is usually resolved in an episode or two. In a soap opera, the writers plant a secret like Sally's hidden pregnancy into this emotional savings account, and they don't touch it.
They just let it sit there.
They let the dramatic tension compound, episode after episode, month after month. The audience knows the secret, but the characters don't. That dramatic irony creates an agonizing sense of anticipation.
And then the writers cash out that savings account for maximum devastation.
Always.
Because before Sally can reveal the pregnancy, Snapper formally proposes to Chris. Sally is completely broken by this. She attempts suicide. She's saved at the last second by a guy named Brad Elliott. And then in a total panic, she hastily marries Pierre, the guy who owns the restaurant she works at.
And the compounding interest of that secret pays off spectacularly down the road.
It sets up the next phase of Snapper's life because eventually his personal life stabilizes just a bit. He and Chris are married. They're living in a small apartment, working through her trauma.
But the writers can't let him be happy.
Never. He's a doctor now. And the writers realize that his medical license is the ultimate weapon for generating conflict.
A hospital is a natural arena for high-stakes drama anyway, but the writers ingeniously made Snapper's professional life collide violently with his personal trauma.
Which brings us to the Chucky saga.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Pierre, Sally's husband, suddenly dies. Sally gives birth to Snapper's biological son, Chucky. Snapper feels this immense guilt and starts sneaking around to spend time with his secret kid.
And Chris inevitably figures it out.
She does, and she is so distraught by the betrayal that she actually suffers a miscarriage and leaves him. Though they do reconcile later.
It proves that the emotional savings account never really zeroes out. The initial secret spawned secondary secrets, keeping the narrative engine running for years.
But the storyline that truly weaponizes his medical degree, the one that had me practically shouting while reading these sources, is the return of Bill Foster.
Oh, the deadbeat dad from the very beginning.
Exactly. The original source of Snapper's trauma. It's 1975. Snapper finally convinces his mother, Liz, to have Bill legally declared dead so the family can have some closure.
A reasonable thing to do after 7 years.
Totally. But the ink is barely dry on the paperwork when plot twist Bill isn't dead at all.
Of course not.
He's been living one town over this entire time, and he chooses this exact moment to reappear, sending a letter saying he has terminal cancer.
Notice how the writers are trapping Snapper here. They are forcing the son who is abandoned to become the medical authority over the father who abandoned him.
Yeah, the family takes Bill back in, much to Snapper's fury. But Bill's health rapidly declines, and because Snapper is a doctor, he's the one charting the progression.
Right.
Bill ends up in the hospital on life support, and then someone pulls the plug.
Suddenly, we transition from a family drama into a full-blown murder mystery with the medical professional as the prime suspect.
This is like a high-stakes game of Clue. The police immediately accuse Snapper of murder. They think he pulled the plug out of revenge. It looks terrible for him.
But the reveal of the real culprit is pure genius.
It's insane. The person who pulled the plug was Snapper's sweet, overworked mother, Liz. She couldn't bear to see Bill suffer, so she ended his life.
But the trauma of committing that act was so severe.
She suffered a stroke and completely erased the memory of the murder from her own mind. She accidentally erased her own memory.
I know it sounds incredibly melodramatic on the surface, almost absurd.
Just a little.
But if we dig into the mechanics of it, the writers are actually exploring real psychological defense mechanisms here.
Oh, really?
Yeah, dissociative amnesia brought on by extreme trauma. They took a medical reality and blew it up to operatic proportions to test the limits of this family's loyalty.
And Snapper is facing prison for a crime his mother doesn't even know she committed. Thankfully, his brother Greg, the law student, manages to unravel the mystery and clear Snapper's name.
But the psychological toll is massive.
Huge. After this, Snapper leaves the high-pressure hospital environment and opens his own free clinic in the community.
Which is a crucial evolution for the character. By moving to a free clinic, Snapper transitions from the angry, struggling student to a mature community savior.
He really grows up.
He does. As critic Charlie Mason points out in the sources, Snapper became the RX for any storyline lull.
I love that quote.
It's so accurate. If the writers had a character who needed to confess a secret, seek shelter, or experience a medical emergency, they just routed them through Snapper's clinic. He became the narrative hub of the entire show.
He was a magnet for everyone's problems. I mean, his medical license is practically a magnet for family tragedy. He fosters a little girl, Karen Becker, whose father was a rapist.
Right.
He and Chris finally managed to have a daughter of their own, Jennifer Elizabeth.
He's settled down.
Sort of, because then, in 1981, the past comes knocking one last time. Sally returns to Genoa City. Little Chucky is deathly ill. Snapper uses his medical expertise to cure his secret son, shares a deeply emotional goodbye with Sally, and then he leaves town.
Chris follows him shortly after in 1982, closing the book on their era.
Yep. But, the daily grind of a soap opera demands constant character turnover to keep the dynamics fresh.
But the unwritten rule of the genre is that true icons are never gone forever.
Never. You cannot keep a good daytime doctor away from the drama. Even though Snapper officially left in 1982, his shadow loomed over the show for decades. In 2003, William Gray Espy, the actor who originated the role before Hasselhoff, returned for a brief arc when his sister Jill discovers she's actually adopted.
A nice nod to the show's origins.
Right.
But the real cultural event was the 2010 return.
Oh, absolutely. David Hasselhoff comes back to daytime television. By 2010, the man is a titan. He's done Baywatch. He has a massive international music career. He's a total pop culture fixture.
And he comes back to play Snapper Foster.
And the storyline is heartbreaking. His mother, Liz, visits town, collapses, and is dying in the hospital. Snapper is granted temporary privileges to treat his own mother on her deathbed,
where she finally reveals the ultimate secret about Jill's parentage.
It brings Snapper's journey full circle. He started as the son burdened by his parents' failures, and he ends as the physician easing his mother out of the world.
But the behind-the-scenes reality of why Hasselhoff agreed to return is even more illuminating.
So what does this all mean? Why does a guy with the star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame go back to his soap opera roots? The sources include a fantastic quote from Hasselhoff explaining his decision. He said he came back purely out of respect for creator Bill Bell.
Wow.
Yeah, Hasselhoff credited those 850 episodes over 6 years with molding his craft, his attitude, and his entire work ethic. It's rare in Hollywood to see a massive star return just to say, thank you.
This raises an important question about the nature of the television industry, specifically how we view the training ground of actors.
Right, because people often look down on soap acting.
They do. But Hasselhoff understood that the relentless pace of a daytime drama is the ultimate crucible.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, you are memorizing 30 pages of dialogue a night. You are blocking scenes on the fly with minimal rehearsal. You are delivering high-stakes, deeply emotional performances 5 days a week, 52 weeks a year.
It's intense.
Snapper Foster wasn't just a character on a resume or a stepping stone. He was the forge that built a global superstar's stamina.
And the critics absolutely recognize that weight, too. In 2022, Soaks She Knows critic Charlie Mason ranked Snapper Foster as the 12th best character in the entire 50-year history of The Young and the Restless.
That is high praise.
It is. Mason even credited Snapper with essentially coining the phrase playing doctor for daytime television.
He established the blueprint for every conflicted, brilliant television doctor that followed him across all networks.
So, to bring this all together for you listening, we started this deep dive looking at a working-class medical student crushed by poverty and a volatile temper.
Right.
And we watched the mechanics of how writers used him to navigate love triangles, secret babies, and murder accusations involving his traumatized mother.
A lot of trauma.
So much. But Snapper Foster survived all of that to become a foundational pillar of daytime television history and launched David Hasselhoff into the stratosphere.
It is a remarkable trajectory of storytelling. But before we sign off today, I want to leave you with a final thought that sort of builds on what we've discussed.
Okay, what is it?
Well, think about how you consume media right now. You might sit down on a Friday night and binge an entire season of a prestige drama in a single weekend.
Oh, guilty as charged.
Right. We all do it. You absorb an entire character arc in 10 hours, and then you just move on.
Yeah.
But Snapper Foster's character arc unfolded slowly, day by day, hour by hour, over nearly a decade.
That is a fundamentally different psychological experience for the viewer.
Exactly. How does that slow daily relationship between you and a character change the way you experience empathy?
Hmm.
When you invite a struggling medical student into your living room every single afternoon for 6 years, he isn't just content to be consumed anymore.
No, he becomes a fixture in your daily routine.
Right. He becomes someone you know. Something for you to ponder the next time you hit next episode and let the streaming algorithm make your choices for you.
The next time you find yourself entirely invested in a fictional character's bad decisions, remember Snapper Foster. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive.
Until next time, keep looking deeper into the stories you love.